wins in a row, a season high. Just how have you been able to find that rhythm over this stretch?
I think it's been about, we've had some practices, and I think practicing has definitely tuned us up, fine-tuning as far as the details. We knew before All-Star that, the second half of the season is always about people making adjustments, people finding ways to stop what we have to do. And I think that on us, we try to do a good job of staying locked in at practices and shoot-arounds and all that kind of stuff to be where we need to be.
The scoreboard clock in Dallas read zeros, but the hum inside American Airlines Center felt as though an electrical surge had just cascaded through 20,000 seats. Indiana players embraced beneath the rim, while Paige Bueckers stared skyward, searching for an answer the box score could not provide. 4 different franchise records had toppled before a crowd that arrived expecting a coronation for Dallas. Even more astonishing, the Fever's brightest star, Caitlin Clark, never removed her warm-ups. When the final horn sounded, the story was no longer about who was missing. It was about how a group once labeled Caitlin and Company recast itself as the most unpredictable ensemble in the league. Rewind to late May. Indiana was wobbling near the bottom of the standings, chasing chemistry that always seemed one practice out of reach. By mid-July, the situation worsened. Clark strained her groin on a routine drive, and the training staff estimated multiple weeks of recovery. National analysts nodded in grim agreement. The Fever might as well circle next season on the calendar. Headlines questioned whether any rookie-led roster could rebound from losing its engine. In the locker room, the reaction
Fever down! Wow. Dub in the chat. A W.
could not have been more different. Kelsey Mitchell challenged teammates to view the setback as liberation rather than loss. Aaliyah Boston organized film study on off days. Natasha Howard logged extra conditioning sessions, and assistant coaches rotated through shooting drills long after the lights dimmed in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. A blueprint began to form, quiet yet stubborn, based on the idea that every possession would be contested as though reputations were on trial. Fast forward to the 1st of August. Dallas management, hungry for a marquee gate, rented the NBA court the Mavericks call home. Ticket sales spiked once local promotions promised Paige Bueckers against her college rival, a matchup Clark would ultimately watch from the bench. Indiana's charter touched down under the cloak of Texas heat that made every breath feel like inhaling through a hairdryer.
Let's go.
The 100 win over Phoenix. Stephanie White called that a big win. They were outstanding. Mitchell,
come on.
The former Dallas wing, Natasha Howard.
Nobody was looking for this. We think Kelsey Mitchell's going to shoot, but that is the play to make right there. Nobody in the passing lane.
Purpose, knocked down confident shots, and set the tone that screamed, "We're not backing down." Mitchell finished with 23 points on 9 of 19 shooting.
Inside the visiting hotel meeting room, Coach Stephanie White clicked through matchup footage and reminded the roster of 3 truths. Tempo must stay frenetic, communication must be ruthless, and self-belief must never waver. No other team had been asked to survive a month devoid of its superstar. Indiana intended to do more than survive. Tip-off erupted with an urgency typically reserved for playoff elimination games. Kelsey Mitchell, who finished July as the league's leading scorer, sliced between 2 defenders for a lay-in that announced Indiana's intentions with exclamation. She pressed full court on the ensuing inbound, poked the ball loose, and buried a deep wing jumper before Dallas settled into its first possession.
14 20-point games this season. In her 8th year, she also has a couple of 30s. And Mitchell trades the 3.
Now have a little bit of an advantage in the paint, and they need to keep doing that.
That time, Dejanay went for the steal, and Mitchell kept it away from her. Would not have taken that call so gently, shall we say. But Kalani Brown was her buffer last year. As Mitchell all the way to the hole.
So you stick together, communicate on defense. This is a high-octane offensive team.
Beautiful pass. Mitchell was so sure of that. After she passed it, she started running down the other end.
By the end of the opening quarter, Mitchell owned 11 points and 2 steals, punctuating each basket with voice-cracking shouts for teammates to sprint harder, cut sooner, trust the game plan. Analysts later noted that her early blitz was less about numbers and more about body language. Every drive shouted the same message. The Fever refused to play casualty for a ticketed spectacle. None of Mitchell's heroic silenced Paige Bueckers. The rookie glided off staggered screens, elevating into a mid-range release so smooth it appeared slowed by invisible wires. She answered Mitchell's flurry with a pair of triples and a hesitation pull-up that drew the first of many whistles. By halftime, Dallas had attempted 15 free throws to Indiana's 6. Social feeds lit up, claiming conspiracy and home cook officiating. Wings coach Chris Canales adding fuel when cameras captured his sideline plea, arms wide, demanding yet another foul. Indiana's bench, however, remained stoic. They had rehearsed adversity and now treated every whistle as background noise. Momentum shifted late in the third period, and the catalyst was neither Mitchell nor Bueckers. DJ Carrington, last season's most improved player, labored through possessions like a ship listing in violent surf. She dribbled off her foot on one drive, threw an ambitious cross-court pass directly into Howard's hands on the next, and capped the sequence by firing a 30-foot prayer that kissed glass and clanged iron. Each mistake launched an Indiana jailbreak. Television commentators counted 5 turnovers in 8 minutes. A switch.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing with Ari is that she's dependable, and she's dependable not always for production, but she understands the impact that she can make in the game, and she understands how to do it. You know, starting it on the defensive end, pushing pace, dictating tempo, getting to the rim, creating shots for her teammates. You know, all of those things, and she's got an incredible awareness, and so she understands when she's hot, and she understands when somebody else is hot and how to get them the ball. But I've just been really proud to see her confidence grow in our system and the ownership that she's taking in being that leader on the floor for us.
That converted a one-possession contest into a double-digit deficit and silenced a crowd that had bellowed moments earlier. While Dallas searched for composure, a player who did not own a contract on opening night commandeered Indiana's offense. Ari McDonald, signed first to a hardship deal when injuries thinned the backcourt, found herself orchestrating high-pick sets with the poise of a seasoned EuroLeague veteran. She darted into seams, collapsed the defense, and rifled skip passes to shooters in rhythm. Midway through the fourth quarter, she used a left-hand hesitation to freeze her defender, then threaded a bounce pass that allowed Boston an uncontested layup. In the space of 2 months, McDonald evolved from practice body insurance to the third fastest player in Fever history to amass 150 points and 50 assists. In post-game remarks, Coach White described her as a compass, guiding tempo.
When the final buzzer sounded, the scoreboard read 88-78 in favor of Indiana. The Fever had just proved they're way more than Caitlin Clark plus 4 players trying to keep up. They showed they could win games they were supposed to win, just like Coach Stephanie White acknowledged after the victory.
You know, finding ways to get wins, and that's going on some scoring bursts. That's being able to rely on multiple players, getting stops when needed, you know, making adjustments, and continuing to grow. I mean, this is a group that's been resilient all season long, and I think that we have such quality depth that we can rely on one another, and rely on one another in certain moments.
Whenever the offense flirted with chaos. Equally transformative was Chloe Bibby, the stretch forward whose signature catch-and-fire release looks as though someone pressed a fast-forward button. When Indiana's lead shrunk to 5, Bibby drilled a corner 3 that kissed the front rim, leapt softly off glass, and fell through the net. On the next trip, she trailed in transition, located the right wing, and buried a second triple before defenders could locate a number. Those shots made her the first player in franchise history to connect on multiple threes in each of her first 3 appearances. They also forced Dallas to stretch its defense toward 40 feet, opening acreage for Mitchell's downhill attacks. Lost amid perimeter fireworks was a historical front-court duet. Aaliyah Boston showcased footwork usually reserved for big man clinics, pivoting through contact and kissing soft hooks over outstretched arms. Natasha Howard treated rebounds like personal property, vacuuming 16, a career best, while launching outlet passes with quarterback precision. Statistic crews huddled because no pair of teammates had ever both recorded at least 10 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, and 2 steals in a single WNBA contest. The benchmark underlined how Indiana had evolved during Clark's hiatus. Their identity now included brute interior force coupled with perimeter sharpshooting. Behind closed arena doors, celebration mingled with introspection. Reporters leaned in when Kelsey Mitchell described McDonald as our blessing in disguise.
You signed Chloe Bibby to a rest of season contract today. Just what impressed you about her on that 7-day and those 2 games she played in?
Well, number one, just the way that she fit in right away. She gives us a different look from that forward position with her ability to stretch the floor. And particularly in 2 games where we really needed to create space for AB to go to work inside, she was able to do that for us. She came in and she learned the system right away. It just was such an easy transition, and she's produced.
But that's not all. Kelsey Mitchell now leads the entire WNBA in most 20-point games after the All-Star break. Her 23 points against Dallas marked her 13th game this season with 20 or more points. Mitchell has been the steady scoring threat that keeps this offense moving even when other players struggle.
The 100 win over Phoenix. Stephanie White called that a big win. They were outstanding. Mitchell,
Come on.
the former Dallas wing, Natasha Howard.
Nobody was looking for this. We think Kelsey Mitchell's going to shoot, but that is the play to make right there. Nobody in the passing lane.
A phrase that landed with extra resonance given the mid-season roster churn that waived veteran Dana Bonner. The subtext was unmistakable. Difficult decisions earlier in the schedule had unlocked a freer offensive ecosystem. Players spoke of trust built in bus rides and film sessions, of defensive coverages practiced until communication became second nature. Energy givers, Mitchell called them, referencing McDonald's relentless pace and Bibby's vocal encouragement. Howard echoed the sentiment, insisting the new mix feels lighter, sharper, more dangerous. While teammates basked in accomplishment, Caitlin Clark attempted gentle jogging drills under supervision of the training staff. Cameras caught her smiling, nodding, and tapping fists with staffers during dead balls. She remains the gravitational center of the franchise. Yet her looming return is no longer framed as rescue. Instead, it's forecast as amplification. Imagine Clark drawing double teams above the break, zipping pocket passes to Boston, or relocating off the ball while McDonald
Ability to score and facilitate has been crucial in filling the point guard role.
For us, when we get a chance to really put ourselves in a position to, win games, we got to win them. I think any competitor knows that when we say win them. And I think we took some time off. We had a little drop off today, and I think that's what she's talking about. It was inconsistent. I think we could have been a little bit better. Our season was all over the place, obviously, with the people that was on the team, the people that wasn't on the team, injury. Tutu not being around as much with her injuries, and just. It takes a lot for a pro to step up and, be where her feet is and step and fill in shoes that, not a lot of people expect. And I think for Ari, she compliments myself, all the other players so well because she just gets it as far as knowing where people are, knowing the chemistry. And I think for us to her, we have to make sure that we keep patting her on the back because this is a big position to fill. And I think that she's doing it unbelievably well. So shout out to you, Ari.
Manipulates a second defender. Picture Bibby stationed in the corner, ready to punish any late rotation. Analysts increasingly project Indiana not as a feel-good storyline, but as an Eastern Conference disruptor with genuine championship aspirations. The Fever are now 4 games above 500 for the first time since Tamika Catchings patrolled the hardwood. And momentum suggests their trajectory is far from plateauing. Historical context magnifies the feat. No Indiana squad had touched 4 games above even since 2015. A roster anchored by icons whose jerseys hang from rafters. In the intervening decade, the franchise endured coaching changes, roster overhauls, and a carousel of lottery picks. The win in Dallas did more than steal a road victory. It symbolically connected present promise to past glory. Social media metrics exploded. Highlights racked up views in the millions. Jersey orders spiked, and television pundits debated whether the Fever now possess the deepest rotation outside Las Vegas. Long after the arena emptied, statisticians from Elias Sports Bureau confirmed the quartet of marks. Chloe Bibby's consecutive multi-3 games to open her
That pass outside to Howard.
Oh,
Boston
wow.
at the basket, foul on Haley Jones.
It is not a move her out geographically away from the lane.
And I asked Kelsey in regards to, or about this, but Harry, just the impact that she's had for you all this season. What do you like most about what you've seen from her thus far?
No, number one, her energy. I mean, she is, she's an energy giver. She's fast. Her speed changes the game for us. Her ability to get the ball from one end to the other quickly. Her ability to get into players defensively. She changes the game for us in that way. I have continued to be impressed with just how quickly she immersed herself, into our team and fit in right away. She's
Ari McDonald's rapid entry into the 150 and 50 club beside Clark and Catchings. Boston and Howard's unprecedented dual stat lines. Kelsey Mitchell's league-leading 14 20-plus games since the All-Star Showcase. Each achievement tells a micro-story of persistence, opportunity, and season moments that rarely announce themselves in advance. Mitchell, every rumor that said we would sink without Caitlin felt like someone dared us to rewrite the script. Howard, I have chased rebounds my whole life, but tonight felt different because every board kept the dream alive for players who met only weeks ago. McDonald, I was at home when the season started.
Stick to your defensive principles. This is an Indiana team that has very nimble on the offensive end.
McDonald from the outside rattles another three.
For that nice jumper.
Bueckers again, another double-digit game, 6 in the quarter. Here's Bibby, launches, buries the three. Watch the attention Boston gets. Opens up a lot for the guards. Here's Boston. Bueckers had nothing she could do. No, rebound Howard. That's rebound number 9 to go along with her 9 points. Beautiful dish inside to Boston.
What we'll do is share the basketball here. Just a little dump down to Boston.
Now on here, and every time I hear Coach call my name, I think about making sure she never regrets it. Biddy, I flew across an ocean for a chance. 2 threes later, the crowd gasped, and I realized chances become careers if you hit them hard enough. The schedule ahead is unforgiving. Road dates in Seattle and New York loom, followed by a return home where ticket demand has soared to the highest level since the franchise relocated downtown. Yet the Fever carries something metrics cannot quantify, an uncoached swagger forged through adversity. Practice is now open with defensive shell drills that include playful trash talk. Rookie and bench players arrive early, just a rebound from Mitchell. Veterans
you only joined this team mid-season, officially on a full contract now. Congratulations! But just the impact that Ari has had overall, how do you feel like?
Oh, it's unbelievable. This is our blessing in disguise. We always tell her that we appreciate her seriously.
Kelsey Mitchell's post-game comments contained a subtle message that Fever fans had been waiting to hear. The locker room buzzed with energy after their historic win. Players were still riding high from breaking 4 records in one night. Mitchell stepped up to the microphones with confidence radiating from every word she spoke. Her words seemed innocent on the surface, but there was some
scouting reports via group text late into the night. Coach White shortened shoot-around speeches because leadership now bubbles organically from within the roster. Opposing coaches sift through film, hunting weaknesses. Double the post and live with corner threes? Stay home on shooters and force contested mid-range looks? Indiana's expanding toolkit complicates every scheme. The return of Clark will only deepen that puzzle. Her gravitational pull beyond 28 feet often warps defenses before a screen is set. Insert that dynamic into an attack already humming with pace, spacing, and rebounding ferocity. And matchups begin to resemble pick-your-poison dilemmas. Aaliyah Boston's double-double streak reached 5 with her performance in Dallas, but numbers only hint at her growth. She now recognizes early doubles, pinging bounce passes to weak side cutters seconds before help arrives. Her footwork against switching defenders has improved, allowing her to pivot baseline and draw contact rather than settle. Teammates trust her as an outlet when possessions stall, knowing she will either manufacture a high-percentage look or reinitiate the offense with a calm skip pass. Natasha Howard's 16 rebounds did more than set a personal high. They symbolized Indiana's commitment to controlling possessions. Each board denied Dallas a second chance, ignited transition, and often led to mismatches as trailing defenders scrambled. Analysts tracked that 7 of her rebounds resulted in Indiana points within 8 seconds. An efficiency coach White
Go to the basket here, but you got to go up strong right there. Don't shy away from the defense because they will get out in transition. And Kelsey Mitchell doing what she does. Indiana up in Dallas.
2 players who weren't even on the roster 3 months ago just became the Fever's secret weapons. Meet Aari McDonald.
That's her third of the ball. She should have looked up and said, "Oh, aren't you an all-star?"
Pass.
And cut.
credits the rigorous conditioning drills introduced after Clark's injury. Kelsey Mitchell entered the league branded as a microwave scorer. Over 8 seasons, she's matured into a voice that lifts teammates during lulls. Against Dallas, she orchestrated huddles, calling out defensive rotations, and reminded McDonald to exploit favorable switches. Her willingness to sacrifice isolation opportunities for paint touches to Boston speaks volumes about a scorer transforming into a conductor. Speed is the one attribute no defensive film session can simulate. McDonald pushes the ball from rebound to rim in 4 seconds, forcing centers to sprint or concede. That kinetic threat will only magnify once Clark shares the backcourt. Imagine a defense backpedaling against McDonald's burst while tracking Clark's trail position. It's the basketball equivalent of trying to watch 2 fireworks explode in opposite corners of the sky. Spacing is currency in modern basketball, and Bibby spends it freely. Her release point is high, her trigger quick, and her confidence palpable. Coach White claims Bibby's mere presence drags defenders 1 step wider, which in basketball geometry translates to a driving lane a foot broader. That lane is all Mitchell needs to unleash a left-handed scoop or McDonald requires to thread a pass. Culture's an overused term in sports, yet Indiana's locker room offers a textbook. Rookies fetch snacks for veterans, veterans offer seat cushions on charter flights, and role players inject spontaneous applause when film reveals a flawless defensive rotation. The standard rises organically, no speech required. Team-wide group chats include daily trivia, a lighthearted competition that blends newcomers and veterans into equals. The payoff appears in late-game execution.
The Boston-Howard combination gave them front-court dominance they hadn't seen before. Mitchell provided the consistent scoring punch. Bibby's 4 records in one night proved this wasn't luck. This was a team finding its identity and showing what they could accomplish when everyone contributed. He stretched the floor immediately. McDonald ran the offense like a veteran, but the real fireworks came after the final buzzer.
Where miscommunications have dwindled to nearly zero. Following the Dallas upset, local Indianapolis radio dedicated entire shows to Fever Talk, bumping preseason football chatter. Merchandise kiosks reported a spike in Bibby and McDonald jerseys, proof that fans embrace more than marquee names. Social metrics showed a 40% uptick in Indiana highlight views, and national morning shows debated whether Coach White deserves Coach of the Year consideration. Playing Hunter is easier than living as the hunted. The Fever now enter arenas accompanied by hype reels celebrating their recent heroics. Opponents amplify focus, crowds jeer louder, and scouting reports lengthen. Coach White already adjusted practice plans, adding late clock situational drills and advanced zone busting sets. She knows success invites scrutiny. No storyline can eclipse the impending return of the rookie who reshaped ticket sales league-wide. All right? When Clark rejoins, minutes will compress, rotations tighten, and roles evolve once again. The coaching staff believes the months without her served as a training.
Cunningham completes it.
That's what Indiana does better than anybody in the WNBA.
And she's done it.
Bibby, don't do it like that.
McDonald provided the point guard leadership they desperately needed.
You got to go up strong right there.
Ground for adversity, tempering steep learning curves that often plague young teams. Clark's voice on the bench has already mirrored a sideline assistant, diagramming angles and offering encouragement. That intellectual investment should translate into seamless on-court chemistry. Indiana's 8-point triumph in Dallas, punctuated by 4 separate record-breaking feats, would have registered as a feel-good blip if not for the circumstances surrounding it. A sideline superstar, 2 mid-season pickups, and a franchise that had not sniffed sustained success for nearly a decade combined to create a narrative too rich for skeptics to
Hey, Carrington rolls to the hole. Howard with a rejection.
To the basket here, but you
Needed it most.
to get her off the basket. Tough rebound there.
Geisel shooter's going to come out. Lee Yu-Ru will check
Smith.
in.
The Fever did more than steal a road win. They announced that the blueprint for success does not always require perfect conditions. Sometimes it demands collective audacity, relentless work, and a refusal to surrender identity when the spotlight drifts elsewhere. The journey from basement speculation to playoff contention is unfinished, yet every dribble since Clark's injury suggests a destination few predicted. Fans inside Indiana and beyond now speak of the Fever in present tense, not future promise. Opponents respect their depth, analysts recalibrate projections, and neutral viewers tune in expecting fireworks. The league better prepare. The Fever are no longer a rebuild or a novelty. They are a rising storm with thunder already rumbling across the standings, and their forecast for 2025 can be summarized in one word: scorching.